Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one is the Smart Foundation, where myself and another person talk about so far we talk about wrestling. This week, or on this show, we're going to talk about the pay-per-view coming up, the Clash of Champions. We're going to do kind of like a pick-em, where we pick who we think's going to win each match. In typical fashion, there'll be, I'm sure, lots of nonsense as well, but just some straight up wrestling talk and that kind of thing. So this is the Smart Foundation. I'm Mherex the Anvil Gaming, and my co-host happens to be Dr. Hitman Sparks, the excellence of execution. So Doctor, welcome to this episode of the Smart Foundation.
It's good to be here, Mherex.
It's good to have you.
Congratulations on starting what should be another in a long line of mediocre episodes.
Thank you. I shoot for mediocrity. That way I don't disappoint anyone. You want to set the bar low, and then hopefully they're pleasantly surprised if it is better than sucky.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised how often people seem to be happy when we release something new.
Yeah, I actually am too. Occasionally, when we don't release something for a while, people are like, when are you going to do something? When are you going to do something? When are you going to do something? And it's always kind of surprising. I'm like, oh, I didn't really know if anyone actually paid attention to it.
Yeah.
It turns out there are a few people that do.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
If we can change the lives of a few for the positive, we've done our job.
For example, this week I got some feedback saying, hey, I really like what you guys did on the podcast. Like, there was some wrestling talk and then some game talk. Have you thought about breaking it down into two shows? One where you just talk wrestling and one where you just talk about the game. But I enjoyed you guys talking about real fake wrestling in there.
Did you tell him, yeah, dude, like, you do that?
I did tell them that. And I wasn't sure if that meant they wanted more content of the wrestling talk or less content of the champions talk, or more of both, just separate.
Well, he said that he enjoyed the fact that there was both and thought that we should break it up. So I'm assuming that he wanted more. But I could be wrong.
You could be. But it would be the first time.
No.
So you're most likely not.
So what's new?
I don't really know what's new. I had a busy week at work. For the first time ever, I tried a new hot dog brand. Well, new to me. It's definitely not new. In my area, we have this meat company called Hempler's, and they had these uncured hot dogs, which I grilled earlier today. And I have to say, 100% beef, I have to say they were simply amazing. So, one of the finer hot dogs I've had. I want to give it a try again when I have some chili at hand and do some chili dogs. But it was fantastic. Maybe add a little cheese.
Are there people that don't eat 100% beef hot dogs as a standard?
I sure hope like, not.
Because, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, even bad hot dogs are still good. But if you're actually going to buy a hot dog, like, if you're going to go through the effort, like, you might as well get a good one.
Yeah, I agree. Like, so you stay away from those, like, cheapy... I don't know what comes to mind. I'm a Hebrews or Nathan's hot dog guy. I'll buy either of those.
Yep.
And they're delicious.
Most of the time you can't go wrong with those. Do you prefer the skinnier bun length or the regular ones?
So
or does it matter?
I think a lot of times it doesn't matter. However, I find I like the thicker hot dogs a little bit more. I like more meat than bun, if that makes sense.
No, I see that.
And I'm pretty plain with my hot dogs, other than I like chili on, like, like a chili dog. Otherwise, I'm just kind of a ketchup guy on my hot dog. Pretty simple.
Are you one of these mustard has no place on a hot dog people?
I'm not the biggest fan of mustard on purpose. But so, like, if I order a hamburger, I always order it without mustard. But on those occasions where they screw your order up and it comes with a pickle and mustard and ketchup on it, I will take the pickle off because I ardently, completely, and totally hate pickles because it's a vegetable and it has no place on a hamburger. But
Is it vegetable?
I think a pickle is a vegetable, right?
And then isn't stuff with seeds considered fruit?
It might be a fruit.
Because I mean, it's a cucumber, and cucumbers have seeds.
Is a cucumber a fruit?
What has seeds?
Is that what
I thought
makes...
that
I'm going to just do a quick Google search.
Yeah, I
Maybe
was under the impression that, and it's probably some stupid thing, like if the seeds are on the inside versus on the outside. You humans are idiots with your words.
Interesting. Technically, pickles may be considered both a fruit and a vegetable. While they are made from cucumbers, which are a vegetable, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled them... Hold on, I gotta go into this more in deep. Fruit of the vine because of their seeds. So apparently, a cucumber is a vegetable, but the Supreme Court actually ruled on this, and because it's a fruit of the vine, it's a pickle. But wouldn't that make a cucumber
I want to. It feels
a
like
fruit
the
then?
ruling. Yeah, it feels like the ruling was that cucumbers are technically fruit.
Yeah.
I think instead of checking whether a cucumber was a fruit or vegetable, you should have just checked what makes something a fruit in
Okay.
general.
I can do that. What makes something a fruit? This
'Cause
show,
I
by
was
the
under-
way, is
I was
educational.
under the Yeah, for sure. I was under the impression that it was the seeds.
Okay, here we go. What's the difference between fruit
I'm
and
no
vegetables?
horticulturist though.
Right. Fruits and vegetables are classified from both a botanical, and culinary standpoint. Botanically, fruits and vegetables are classified depending on which part of the plant they come from. A fruit develops from the flower of a plant, while the other parts of the plant are categorized as vegetables. Fruits contain seeds, while vegetables can consist of roots, stems, and leaves. From a culinary perspective, fruits and vegetables are classified based on taste. Fruits generally have a sweet or tart flavor and can be used in desserts, snacks, or juices. Vegetables have a more mild or savory taste and are usually eaten as part of a side dish or main course. So basically, what I'm getting here is they're classified in two different ways, either from a cooking perspective or from a botanical one.
Yeah, and really the botanical one is the one that I was more interested in because
That would be
that's also like saying here's a rule, but there's also this other rule that we made up just because it's different.
basically the botanical version would be the scientific version, and hence the one you would think would be more widely accepted as accurate.
Yeah, but I think most people roll with the culinary version.
Correct.
That's why people are like, tomatoes. Basically, if it goes in a salad, they're like, oh, that's a vegetable. Tomatoes, blah blah blah.
You know what? I'm gonna go with we're gonna call it a fruit, for the simple reason that it leads me into another discussion that fruit does not belong on a hamburger. For example, a so-called Hawaiian burger, putting pineapple on a hamburger, yuck. Why would you do that to a hamburger?
Do pineapples have seeds?
I don't know. Do you want me to Google that?
Well, I mean, if we just said that the seed is what makes it the fruit, I think pineapple might be one of those things where I think the actual pineapple is the seed, like coconuts. And I don't know what that makes it.
Unlike most fruits, pineapples are not grown from seeds. The plant will produce a seedless fruit. Interesting.
Well,
But then, yeah,
the term seedless fruit completely throws the definition of the fruit makes it the seed. No, wait, the seed makes it the fruit completely out the window.
except Pineapples do occasionally produce true tiny black seed just below the peel of the fruit.
So sometimes they're fruit.
This whole, basically what I'm gathering from this is this whole thing is ridiculous and confusing, and you can basically say whatever you want is a fruit or a vegetable and maybe make a case for it.
Coffee, fruit or vegetable?
I give up.
But you said anything.
I mean, let's call it a vegetable. Let's call it a vegetable.
I'm pretty sure it's a bean.
Is a bean another classification?
I think so. There's like pods and beans and legumes and grains. It's nuts, man. I was happy in my world where I thought if it had fruit, it was a seed. Wait, if it has seed, it was a fruit.
This really brings to light an excellent movie, Man on Fire. Have you by chance seen it? It's a Denzel Washington movie. Christopher Walken's in it.
I think I have, but I don't remember it.
So, Christopher Walken plays Denzel Washington's friend, and there's a line in there where he's talking.
For a second, I thought you were going to say Christopher Walken plays Denzel Washington.
Oh, that would be cool. Christopher Walken could do it.
That would be the role of a lifetime.
Christopher Walken could do it. He's amazing.
Yep.
Anyway, there's a line in the show where Christopher Walken is talking about how a man can be an artist at anything. And I think that's what we're finding out, really. Like, you could nerd out on almost anything, and there is way more knowledge to be gained or obtained or had about random crap that a person never possibly even knew about.
Yeah. People should make an effort to try to learn more about stuff. I think that's how we end up with terrible people that make terrible decisions. Just the lack of knowledge and information.
Knowledge is never going to hurt you, and it will probably only help you. So I have no reason to disagree with that. And really, the more knowledge you have, you would think you'd be able to make better choices because you have more to compare your choices with.
Sure. If you make the decision to actually use the knowledge for the basis of your decision.
Right.
Sometimes people just choose to make irrational decisions based on stupid things like feelings.
Right. And there is a difference between thinking you know something and actually knowing something.
Is there?
Yes.
I think
when people think they actually know something, they can end up being really, really stupid when they don't actually know it, and they can make a lot of really, really bad choices.
Yeah, there's a whole study about that. I think it's called the Kruger-Dunning effect, where essentially people that are under the impression that they know something are overconfident and make bad decisions because they don't know how much there is that they don't know. So, for example, they're under the impression that there's, let's say, 100 units worth of information to know, and they know 90 of them, whereas someone that's an actual expert knows that there's actually like millions of units of things that they should know, and let's say they know half of it. Like, yeah, they know way more than the idiot, but because the idiot knows a larger perception or a larger percentage based of their perception, then they're more confident. So you end up with stupid people that are overconfident and experts that doubt themselves. And the experts are fooled by the confident people because they say, "Oh, well, that guy, he's pretty confident. He must know what he's talking about." And we're talking about something very simple right now, so surely he knows that. So then the expert will let the idiot carry the reins on something or make the final decision. And yeah, you end up with someone dumb making a decision because they think they know more than they know.
Yeah,
it's all very interesting. Dunning-Kruger, you guys should look into it.
I just looked it up actually because I hadn't heard of the study, or it's actually named in effect, Dunning-Kruger effect. It completely stands to reason. I've heard thought processes along that. I didn't know it had an actual name, but it
like
says
it's an actual study. Like
Mhm.
they had some people that actually confirmed it based on observations and stuff like that.
I find this
And
actually.
the people that are there's a nice little graph that goes with it, and it's basically um, the relationship between confidence and knowledge. And at the beginning, you get people with high confidence and low knowledge, and that peak is referred to as Mount Stupid. And I find that hilarious because that's the actual official term for it.
So for everyone actually watching and not just listening, I pulled the graph up for you to see, and it is indeed high confidence, low no nothing, and is the peak of Mount Stupid. He is indeed right.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
yeah, it's pretty fascinating actually,
yeah.
and
Mount
very
Stupid is the scientific term.
and honestly, as someone who works in sales, I can kind of attest to that. You take someone who has really good knowledge about something, but they lack confidence. When they try and tell someone about the product they're selling and they stumble a lot and they say a lot and they don't sound very confident, people think the product or the thing they're selling them is crap because they don't have good self-confidence in it. So surely they don't believe in the product. Then you take someone who is actually I've had these people work for me that are actually kind of a moron, but they're super confident and they approach it from the point that it's great and you're going to love it, and they go into it with all this confidence, and lo and behold, they have all of these sales because people just naturally, I think they like a winner, they like someone confident. So if you act like you know what you're talking about, people just are sheep. They kind of just tend to go along with it.
Yeah, people are indeed cheap.
So anyway, that's pretty cool actually, and I guess this is kind of fitting since we have titled the show the Smart Foundation. It makes kind of sense that we would talk about this stuff.
Yep.
I
Wasn't
did
planned.
No, yeah, this is all
that would require planning.
Right.
This is not a well thought out commitment.
Yeah, just so you guys know, like the pre-talk for this one was like, hey, we're going to talk about the pay-per-view. What else do you want to talk about? Yeah, I don't care. We'll figure it out when we start. That's generally... Go ahead.
We did talk about that one thing that you said you didn't want to talk about.
Right. There was one thing I said I didn't want to talk about, but that was about it. But we could end up there. I mean, you never know, because it wouldn't be the first time we said we didn't want to talk about something and then we did.
No.
Just actually... Oh, back to your original question of mustard, which is where this started.
I forgot that that's where this started.
Yeah. So on those rare occasions when I get that wrong, I actually really enjoy the tang of mustard on the hamburger with the ketchup. So I picked the pickle off because I really, really, really don't like pickles. But the tang of mustard is not bad. Also, homemade sloppy joes, which are nothing like your school sloppy joes. It shouldn't even be called that, really. It's gonna conjure up the absolute wrong image. So basically, you take a bunch of hamburger, take a couple cans of vegetable beef soup, you dump that all in with a couple pounds of hamburger, then you mix in a couple tablespoons of ketchup and a tablespoon of mustard, and mix it all together, simmer it down, let it cook. It's really, really good. Super simple, super easy, super yummy. Of course, flavor your beef accordingly, like a little garlic, salt if you're of that variety, maybe a little Lowry seasoning, pepper, whatever you kind of like, but super delicious. Anyway, I find that in very small amounts, I like the kind of like tanginess of mustard. However, it's not something I generally will grab and put on purpose.
Now, let me ask you something. You said that you don't like pickles.
Correct.
How did you come to this conclusion?
I bit into one and it was disgusting.
Okay.
Many years ago now. I'm 40.
So,
it was probably in my early teenage years, and I haven't... or I occasionally, if I don't look at the burger, have bit into pickle and do not like it at all still in later life. But very rarely does it happen, and I don't particularly care for it.
So the reason I ask is because I have a friend who also has an aversion to pickles. But his reasoning, He says he's never had a pickle,
How can
and
you how can you not like something if you've never had it?
his explanation, and this is a quote, they just seem like they would be gross.
What? Okay. So in the food world, there are a lot of things that seem like they would be a lot grosser than pickles that people eat.
Like, can you imagine being the first person that tried an oyster?
No. And why on earth would someone decide, of all the things I want to try this slimy sliding thing?
Yeah, like, how hungry did that person have to be to find essentially what looked like a rock and open it up and find what seems like a gray booger and then just throw it in their mouth?
Right. I'm with you, man. I don't
But,
know. I mean, there's a
but,
lot grosser
but yeah,
things than a pickle.
yeah, and like the thing is like, people try them, and yeah, if you try something and you don't like it, fine. That's it's up to you. Again, pro-choice. But yeah, to just say you don't like something based on absolutely no information at all, I mean,
So
seems a bad way to live your life.
it does. A lot of people are probably going to find this hard to believe. Tons of people say lettuce really doesn't have a flavor, doesn't have a taste. I could not disagree more. It is a really, really, to me, completely disgusting and very, very noticeable. Happens most often, actually, when I get something at Taco Bell. I can tell if the tortilla or whatever they've wrapped said taco or burrito in has even touched lettuce, because I can bite into it and I can taste the lettuce sometimes even when there's not lettuce on it. Or if there's one tiny little piece, that's even worse. I literally don't even like lettuce to touch anything. It definitely has a distinct flavor, and it actually seriously bothers me. And I know a lot of people are like, no, lettuce doesn't have a flavor. It really, really does, and it's really blatantly obvious to me anyway.
Well, you may have a genetic disorder.
I mean, most vegetables I really don't like.
No, but
Uh,
I mean specifically like what you're describing right now. So, for example, are you familiar with cilantro?
yeah, I love cilantro.
So there is a population that, due to a genetic abnormality, think that cilantro tastes like soap.
You know, I have actually heard that. I believe Mrs. Mherex always says that cilantro tastes like soap to her.
Yep.
I
So,
know she doesn't like it, and so I just never get it on anything of hers. But I believe that's actually what she says it tastes like. I'm gonna ask her later and clarify.
yep. But yeah, that's the thing. So based on that, I mean, it's not too far to reason that you could have some variation of that where, for some reason, something that to the general population doesn't have a distinctive flavor, to you it does have a distinctive flavor, and that genetic abnormality may also be what causes your overall aversion to vegetables.
It could be. I also have a hyper sense of smell. Like, I can smell insanely well, and that never really comes in handy in this life. I can tell you that. Often I can see people or smell people before I can see them. Like, if they're in a store, I can smell people from a long way away. It does not come in handy almost ever.
Is that why you keep a stick of deodorant on your desk?
Actually, I have a stick of deodorant, spray deodorant, and my Aspen cologne all on my desk. But no, I am actually pretty. It's just because in the morning I always get ready at my desk for work. So I get out of the shower, hit my desk, and that's the first things I do is put that stuff on. But I can't use too
Well,
much. I can't use too much either
you
because
put on clothes between the shower and the desk, I
you,
hope.
usually if somebody's here, yes. Usually I put my boxers on and walk to the desk.
You say
So,
usually,
mhm.
which implies not always,
I mean, if no
which
one's in the
implies
house, if no one's in
if
the house, I'll walk
you
buck
will
naked to
you
the
will just
desk.
raw butt your chair, is what you're saying.
I mean, I would be lying if I said I've never raw butted my chair.
it's what it sounds like you're telling me is that if there's no one else there, you will raw butt your chair.
Not every time, no, but I have a few times, yes.
All right.
Not that that's any of your business.
I'm just saying, maybe that's why you don't like the way stuff smells. You're going around raw butting things.
No, I'm very. So I'm of the opinion people should be clean. There in our day and age, there's no reason to smell bad or not be clean. So I'm a little bit, and that's probably due to the sense of smell. I'm a little bit of a clean freak.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you even said after the shower, so the assumption there is that you would be as clean as you're going to be. That being said, I mean, I would still prefer, like, if I ever found out that you ever raw butted my chair, that would be completely unacceptable, regardless of how much time has passed since you came from the shower.
I would never raw butt your chair. I will teabag your toothbrush instead.
See, that's inappropriate.
It is, but that's okay.
This is just unacceptable.
Just saying, man.
I don't.
Full disclosure.
Can you do a full squat?
What do you mean?
Would it be actual teabagging, or would it be more bringing the toothbrush to the perineum?
Are you actually asking if I was going to do it physically, how I would perform the maneuver? Is that what we're talking about here?
Well, I'm just saying, at that point, it's technically not a teabag anymore, right? Because if you're bringing it up,
I mean,
teabag, you would bring it down, right?
Yeah, it's probably more a brushing of the scrotum, yes.
Just saying.
Full disclosure,
Either way, don't touch my toothbrush, dude.
I've never teabagged anything.
Don't accept your chair.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
And probably the toilet seat unintentionally.
Sure, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Okay, I guess that about covers our normal rant of ridiculousness to start anything. Although there was some interesting tidbits in there. If you're still listening,
I felt like all of that was valuable information.
Most of it was.
Anyone that disagrees, I don't want them listening anymore.
Yeah, you've already hopefully liked and subscribed and shared, so just go away.
Yeah, still click. So when the new episode comes out, you still need to click on it.
Right.
And stay on. I don't know. Is there like some rule? Like, is there a 5-second rule? You have to stay X amount of time before it registers as a view? How does that work?
I have no idea. I've never actually looked into that.
So if you're not going to listen, which if you don't like what we're saying, we don't want you to listen. But we do want you to click and then either like mute or walk away.
Yeah.
Like just leave it running.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is probably a great thing to listen to put you to sleep.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's maybe what we're going for.
Probably not.
Because I mean, when it comes to dulcet tones, I think the people have spoken and they have a clear favorite. And it's not you, Mherex, and certainly not me.
Oh, that's not really a relaxing tone. That's more the 1-900 number tone that you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's still the tone of preference.
Is it though? Let's have our listeners weigh in. As far as the type of voice you like to hear on your WWE content, rate any and all voices and why you like to listen to them, whether it's Dr. Sparks, whether it's Mherex, whether it's Bob, whether it's Punisher, Gerson, DJ, Davey D.
I like Gerson. I like the slightly seemingly Canadian accent.
It's the French accent too. He's French. He speaks French as well, I believe. So. Yeah,
that's what I'm. By Canadian, I assume it was French Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said Canadian.
And Benny as well. I think I don't know if Benny's in Canada or not. Benny, if you happen to listen to this, let us know. Are you from Canada? Can't remember.
Have they been? Have they been to any TWO shows?
You know, we should ask Gerson if he's been to a TWO show, and we should ask Benny.
He's. You're gonna have to ask him, because if I ask him, he's gonna be like, "Who are you?"
I mean, if he listens to the show, they know who Dr. Sparks is, but he probably doesn't listen to the show. Gerson's got way better stuff to do than listen to my show.
There's a 0% chance that Gerson has ever listened to the show.
Right. There's a chance that maybe.
I would be surprised if he knew that the show exists.
Me too.
I think that's the over-under, whether he even knows that the show exists.
I think
he knows you exist.
Right. And he has been very helpful. He has looked at a few of my videos and given me some tips and advice, things like that. So if you actually don't know Gerson on a somewhat personal level, I don't know him super well, but I do talk to him occasionally. He is a very, very nice guy, and you should not give him flack ever for being like a Scopely shill, because he 100% is not. He goes to bat for people all the time. So if you have that feeling about Gerson, you're completely wrong. Does he have a huge roster? Absolutely. Is he in a very good faction? Absolutely. Is he a sweetheart of a human being? 100%. Super, super nice guy. So really, you guys should never give him any flack about being a Scopely shill or anything like that, because he definitely will stand up for everyone when he thinks it's the right thing to do. So just want to throw that out there.
I mean, of the Canadians that I've had the privilege of knowing, they do tend to generally be a happier, more polite people. So
I have no complaints myself.
That's not a rule, because everyone, I mean, there's jerks and idiots everywhere, but
right.
As just a oversweeping generalization.
I mean, stereotypes exist for a reason, and Canadians do have a stereotype of being overly nice.
No.
Just saying.
No. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, that's interesting. I think your poll question is going to get like 3 answers.
Probably. I think we can safely assume payroll will answer. I think there's a good chance Hansen will answer. I am very, very positive Southside Envy will say something, because Southside Envy is a huge supporter. He comments on just about every video. Yeah,
Southside Envy's got a tickle of Canadian to him.
He is a super nice guy.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was Canadian.
Sorry, someone's asking me a question on Discord that I'm answering about Dango.
No, I thought it was about Canada.
It was not about Canada. It was actually about Dango setup for Feud, even though I have made many videos of this and usually refer to the video when Feud's going on.
Did you just send him the video?
I would have, but Feud's going on, so it's just easier to type.
All right.
And they probably won't watch it, but I'll send him the video as well as answering them, because that is just good self-promotion. Is that the right way of phrasing that, I think?
Sure.
Okay.
Speaking of shameless plugs, I saw that you recently crossed, 400?
Yeah, I'm over 400 subscribers. I hit 406 today, which is very exciting. I'm super happy about that. Thank you. It's a slow, steady grind. I seem to get, depending how many videos I do, when there's like feud preps and stuff like this, I always get a couple, 3 new ones usually. Seems to go about the rate of anywhere from 8 to 15 a week, depending how many videos I do and the content that's out there. So it's kind of a slow, steady grind, but it's pretty exciting. When I started, I certainly didn't think I would get to 400, so that's pretty cool.
It's interesting how that works, because I've noticed similar ratios where it seems like you also get 1 thumbs up roughly for every 10 views.
That's probably pretty accurate. Yeah, I get about 1 like for every 10 views. That's pretty accurate. And interestingly, I will get dislikes sometimes in just random weird spots. Like most of them are somewhere between 90 and 100% like to dislike ratio. So about 1 dislike for every 10 likes. And then randomly, like I have one video, and it was feud prep for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I have 13 likes and like at only 68.4%. So that's probably like 8 dislikes for some reason, and no one really commented why.
Is that the? Well, I wonder if they just disliked the event.
Maybe that it's shooting the
Maybe,
messenger.
maybe we should explain how that whole thing works. So when you like and you dislike, you're not liking or disliking the subject. So what you're liking or disliking is the execution of the information that was given to you. Whether or not you liked what that information was, that's not what you're voting for.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. So, work on that, people. There's also didn't you have one video that seemingly it looked like you were the victim of some type of international terrorist plot?
What are you referring to? I think I know.
There's a video where people were making random comments, saying things about you, and even saying stuff about the server that just were completely untrue. Like,
Yeah, that's the one that
there's
has.
like,
I think that might be the one that has all the dislikes on it too, for the video. I don't know if someone was mad or something, but like on my server, I think we've only ever booted 2 people, and one of them asked to be booted. So yeah, so I don't even know, and there's next to no drama ever on my server because that's like the one rule. So it was really confusing what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was just really really weird.
yeah, because some of the comments on there were like, "Oh, I was a fan until you." It was like just random and generic, like, "Oh, I was such a fan until you made those racist comments on your server. I can't believe it." And then someone else would comment, "Yeah, oh, I left right away. I can't believe it." And it's like, what are you? One, who are you people? And two, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
And yeah, who knows?
I
That's I think
maybe they have me confused with a different person. I don't know.
I don't know. But what was weird is that they were referring to the server.
Right.
It's almost like they were just trying to bash your content and hope that people went somewhere else. Maybe I don't. Who knows?
Yeah,
People are odd creatures.
this was several months ago now too. Not that recent. So yeah, it was weird though for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
are we done?
I think so. Should we talk wrestling? Let's talk wrestling.
Have we not been?
No,
I mean,
we're 38 minutes in and haven't talked wrestling at all.
you said Dango earlier.
Kind of. That's true. I did. Anyway, Feud is live right now. We're recording this during Feud. It's live. I may run a few Feud matches, so if I sound distracted, that's why. But I may not. I don't know. I'm not going to show it up on the screen because then I'll definitely get distracted.
No.
Right now, everyone's mostly just been staring at the Smart Foundation logo and listening to our beautiful voices.
Yeah, I would imagine. I wonder what percentage of people actually watch versus how many people just listen.
That actually is a great question. So, for the other podcast we do, the DI Cable Guy Show, do you guys actually watch or do you just listen? And also curious to know about this one. Are you watching or are you listening? Because that's actually really good information to know.
Because I'd imagine a lot of people, like, well, I mean, I guess this is just me, like, personally, like, I like listening to stuff maybe while I'm driving or maybe while I'm laying down, resting, or just relaxing. If I wouldn't watch a podcast, I would listen to a podcast.
Right.
But, like, if it's video, yeah, I'll watch the videos. But if I was going to listen to a podcast, if there's like a video version of the podcast, I'm not going to watch the video version. I'm just going to listen to the audio version.
Right.
But anyways, I guess some people like it because video podcasts are more popular nowadays. Like a lot of podcasts that used to be audio only, they start with video. And weren't people asking you to get a camera too? I mean, people I think
Yeah,
people are all about the video.
at some point I will probably absolutely do a webcam. The only thing is, wife is doesn't care about most things other than if it ends up on the internet in picture form. So the only thing is, she said if I do webcam, anything behind me needs to be 100% immaculately clean. And I am not a fan of cleaning, nor would I rate myself as a really, really good cleaner. So I would have to look into setting up maybe a green screen, which I do have one, shockingly. But I don't really know how to do that. So that would be something I'd have to look up. As well as right now, webcams are highly overpriced because of COVID and everyone working from home.
Yep.
So I would want to get a nice at least 1080p one. I mean, the rest of my stuff's in 4K, so honestly, I should probably get a 4K webcam so you guys can see every pore on my face. I know you would love that.
So what we've learned so far is that you highly value being clean, but you are not very good at cleaning, which doesn't make me feel good about you raw butting that chair.
I am not surprised where you went with that. I also hate you a little bit, but well done, sir.
I mean, I'm not making.
No, that round definitely goes to you. You won that
I'm not
round.
drawing conclusions. I'm just stating facts, which you have.
Yes. Well done.
I'm merely repeating your own words.
You win
I
that
apologize
round.
if that's coming off as anything.
As I said, you win that round.
All right.
Nothing's gonna get me out of this one, so
I
not
think
even gonna
I
try.
think there are no winners here. The only loser is your chair.
Yes, I'm sure my chair feels decidedly the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, now for real. Are we gonna talk some wrestling?
I guess. So
Okay.
there's a pay-per-view coming up.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And they spent more than a week before showing it.
Right. Hopefully should get this posted tonight. Should we post it tonight or should we wait?
Not?
Yeah, okay. We'll post it tonight after it renders to YouTube. So we'll post it tonight and then
I think you should post it out of nowhere while doing a dance in public. Isn't that a thing? Don't people do spontaneous dancing in public and then they become famous?
Are you talking like a flash mob thing?
Yeah. Do that.
I like the out of nowhere since Randy Orton is on the card and he gets people out of nowhere. So I like that statement. But I don't think anyone wants to see me dance. So maybe we can just post it out of nowhere and find a happy middle ground.
Yeah. I guess that would be also another interesting question. If we were to define a release time, what would be preferred?
Yeah.
Because I think we tried doing that once, and then someone complained about, oh, these are horrible times for Australia or something. And then I was like, I didn't know Australia had internet.
Whoa. I wasn't going to go there. I was just going to go, I didn't know anyone from Australia cared. That was kind of dodgy, mate.
How so?
You kind of insulted Australians.
No, there was no intention of insult. If anything, what I said is that I am ignorant as to the ways of Australia. That was not a judgment on Australia. I didn't say Australians can't afford internet or they don't have the mental capacity to build a, internet network. I'm just saying I don't know anything about Australia.
Thank you for saying those.
People say they have large insects and that there's a bunch of stuff in nature that'll kill you.
Thank you for saying those really, really horrible comments. And now I can edit, cut, and rearrange them however I want, completely out of context. That's beautiful.
I'm not worried about that because you're not going to do any of that. That ship has sailed.
You're calling that bluff?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So,
to the pay-per-view.
But that brings up a good point where sometimes people listen and they choose to hear something when it's not actually the words that were actually said.
That's true. Very true.
So
That's interesting.
chill out, people.
Yeah, you can take two human beings and they can hear the exact same thing, but interpret it two completely different ways.
I think in general, everyone should try to not be a jerk, but everyone should also try to be a little less sensitive.
Yeah, I would say that's a really good rule. Be less of a jerk and be less sensitive. That I think would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Now
the
that
little I
we've
know about Australia, I like Aussie Man. That's all I know. Aussie Man's great.
Yeah, he posts a lot of dodgy reviews.
So should we get started with this?
Let's do this.
All right. So Clash of Champions. Wait, are we
Yes.
doing one or are we reviewing Crash du Champions?
This is the WWE programming, not the TWO.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
When we do
Very
TW,
interesting. There's some very interesting matches on that card, but okay, we'll stick to the mainstream because that'll probably get more views or whatever.
we'll do a TWO pay-per-view breakdown when we can confirm that one, Gerson has in fact attended one, and two, would agree to co-host the show with us.
Like if he could be the live correspondent, like I know websites do that. Like they'll send someone to the show, and they'll be either on their phone or on their laptop or whatever, and they'll be like, "Oh, such and such just came out," whatever, for like house shows or things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So if Gerson could go to an untelevised event, because I mean we don't get TWO here in the States, so if he could go and like broadcast kind of via text what's going on, I think that would be the ultimate. I think we'd get a lot of views on that, I feel.
That would be pretty glorious, in fact. And on the plus side, Gerson would be able to pick up some of their 2-for-1 poutine.
Oh yeah.
I would be very envious of that.
Yeah. All of this is going to come down to Gerson being like, dude, I'm from Wisconsin or Nevada or something.
No, he's not. He's 100% from Canada.
Oh, sweet. All right, so to the show.
Yes, sir.
So we have the SmackDown. So the premise of the show is that all belts are going to be defended.
Yes.
But by all belts, apparently they mean all main roster belts, because there's no NXT championships, there's no 205, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have some of those on there, but at the same time, I feel like there is a divide between the mainstream audience and the NXT audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever. Keeping them separate is fine.
Okay.
SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We have Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Lucha House Party. Who do you got?
I'm gonna pick a flyer here, kind of an upset, and I'm gonna go with the Lucha House Party. Since Kalisto's came back, they've kind of been making a big deal out of it. A lot of talk about how he's back, he's leading him, etc., etc. I feel like they're gonna do something, and they're leading up to something. Maybe they won't, but I feel like they are. Whether I feel like maybe a heel turn will come and a split, maybe, or something. I don't know, but Lucha House Party's fun, and they do some crazy stuff, some high flying lucha libre. I'm gonna go with the Lucha House Party on this one.
So I feel like what they're leading up to, is some sort of split, which to me would mean that there's very little reason for them to win a tag team title. Because if they're going to split, why would you give them a prize for being a good group?
Well, that's a great question. But didn't the greatest love story of all time, the DIY team, kind of get a title and then split shortly after not having it?
Yeah, but the thing is that right now they've already planted the seeds of the split, whereas DI Cable Guy was a team and that Love had built before. So I don't know, it's not the same. And for you to compare Lucha House Party to DIY is an insult.
I mean, it's not that bad. And
No,
I'm not.
I'm not saying that it's that bad. That's not a knock on Lucha House Party. It's just saying it's not. It's nowhere near the same level.
No, of course not. But I'm just also they haven't. You assuming the main roster ever builds something up and hides it that well, they don't. They never have heel turns like NXT does, really. So I kind of feel like this is more a simplified version of that kind of thing. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Although I do like I like Cesaro and Shinsuke a lot. I think they're both really talented. I'm happy to see them being used in any kind of way. So I feel like in this case, pretty much the fans are going to win regardless. There should be if they let them do their thing, it should probably be a highly entertaining match.
Is Bailey gonna be on this card?
Yeah, she should be, right? Isn't she defending against Zelina Vega?
No, that's not what's happening. Anyway, I was just curious. Bailey, just throwing Bailey out there randomly for no reason.
I wasn't able to see SmackDown because I watched on Hulu and it wasn't live yet on Hulu before this. So
no, it was more a comment on you saying that they're never heel turns.
Oh, I see what you're going. I'm way off there. Yeah, I get what you're saying. She was already a heel. Can a heel go more heel? That's what she did.
Nah, dude, she wasn't a heel. What are you talking about?
You're not talking about her beating up Sasha?
I'm talking about before when she was hugging people.
Oh, yeah, that was always just waiting for her to lose it. Anyone with giant inflatable huggy things is clearly not stable.
All right. So I'm gonna go with Cesaro and Nakamura because I think the easy thing is for Lucha House Party to lose, and then they start shoving each other, and internal strife. They blame each other for the loss, blah blah blah. I just feel like they're not really doing anything interesting with tag teams in general, so I think they're gonna keep with the easy writing, easy decisions. Just keep it with Cesaro and Nakamura for now.
You're probably right.
Next match, which this deserves to be on the kickoff show because I don't know anyone that has any interest in it. Asuka versus Zelina Vega.
Yeah, that's what I meant. No, I said Bailey, but I meant Asuka. I mean, Asuka's gonna win for sure. I think
she has to. I mean,
that would be so dumb if I'm now gonna start doing. Asuka's got to win.
Let's build a scenario where Zelina Vega wins.
I don't want that scenario.
There would have to be. I'd say there would have to be outside interference.
Yep.
But I don't know who would interfere on her behalf.
What if she did something nefarious like she did to the Street Profits and, poisoned Asuka?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that might be interesting it would be more interesting if she won, because she would have to win by some crazy odd thing.
Right.
Like she's not going to win clean. So, but I don't think, because if they did that, then they would have to dedicate at least another month to whatever weird interesting thing they decide, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know. I'm not invested enough in Zelina as a solo competitor to want to see that right now.
No.
I think she's probably pretty good and, obviously can use the mic and talk and stuff. So potentially, yes. But as far as for your main title thing, I not really want to see that right now. So I'd rather, I don't usually like squashes, but it wouldn't bother me if, Asuka just squashed her.
No. If she said some gibberish and then hit her with her butt and then
hip attack,
Win them.
and then Asuka lock. Over.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Asuka.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Asuka too. I want Rousey to come back. I want to see Asuka versus Rousey.
You know what I want to see is Rousey versus what's her face, the Queen of Spades.
Yeah, Baszler.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be something that they would build to
Oh yeah.
because they're friends. So I think she would come back, and they would, kind of form a stable, and then eventually go up against each other. But yeah,
So
I think lots of interesting things that they can do with Rousey.
So you brought up the word stable. I like stables. I feel like there isn't.
Yeah, there's not enough.
Yeah,
They used to be great, and now they just don't exist.
Right. So I would love to see more stables. Feels like they're trying to do something with Retribution. Maybe that's a stable. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I was going to call them the Hurt Foundation. I don't know what they're actually called.
Hurt Business?
I think we should call them the Hurt Foundation, because that sounds cooler.
It does.
So the Hurt Foundation, I mean, that is full stable.
Yeah, I like them. I like that. I like that whole thing. I really like MVP, what he's done on the mic since he's came back and stuff. So I'm buying that. I like the Hurt Business in general.
I kind of wish that they didn't just make all the black people fight each other, though. Like, I feel like they could do more than that. Like, we have Apollo Crews, obviously everyone in the Hurt Business. I have no problems with having a black stable. I just feel like, and this is in general, I think, with all of the feuds that have been going on since the pandemic started, like, everyone is fighting each other way too much.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same people. Like, feuds have been going on, it feels like, for months. Like, when's the last time Bobby Lashley fought someone that wasn't in the Hurt Foundation? Sorry, Apollo Crews. When's the last time he fought someone that wasn't Lashley, MVP, Shelton, or now what's his name?
Cedric Alexander. I think you mean
Exactly.
When's the last time Lashley fought someone other than Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, or Apollo?
Yeah, it goes both ways. Like,
Right.
you have the one, which is, it was kind of like a nameless faction. They were just kind of, oh, these are buddies, but really it was just, oh, these are guys that we don't really know what to do with. And it was kind of cool when it was Lashley. Lashley was the head, and I don't mind right now with MVP because I think he's good on the mic. So it turned into like, okay, Lashley's the muscle, MVP's the talking guy. And I really liked when Apollo was like, oh, here's the one guy kind of going against the odds, and he was like kind of getting it over on them and stuff like that. Like, I liked what they were doing with that. But now, the Hurt Business kind of has won very profoundly, and now Apollo and Ricochet just seem like losers.
Yeah.
Like, they're the big losers in this, and they just keep fighting them, and it's not really going anywhere. And now the Hurt Business is seemingly creating some type of a feud with Retribution, which we haven't talked about how ridiculous Retribution is now with the face paint and the stupid names.
Yeah, I mean, you got the one guy looks like Predator. You got one guy that looks like Jason from Friday the 13th. You got Bane. T-Bone is, or T-Bar, not even T-Bone. T-Bar looks like Bane. You got Mia Yim looking like Sub-Zero, and the Martinez lady looking like Scorpion. So, and then, definitely don't know why they went like that. They were fine when they were hooded, didn't know who they were, blah, blah, blah. Cool.
And then with the reveal, they should have just taken off their hoods.
Yeah.
And they should have just been pissed off people from NXT.
Right.
Like, that should have been their gimmick. Because guess what? They did that before, and it worked out great. with Nexus.
Yeah, it worked out too well. Isn't
Like,
it like didn't it piss off Vince how Barrett got himself over on his own?
I have no idea.
It doesn't matter. But
Yeah,
Barrett's fun anyway. Different subject.
yeah, but yeah, I guess the point is like, I think they're trying too hard. Maybe they're trying to have it be some type of loose Thunderdome gimmick. Maybe they're trying to Mad Max it up.
That could be. I definitely like that Dijak is leading it. That's pretty cool. He's fun in the ring, so.
No, but anyways, I wish they went somewhere with these feuds.
No, I agree.
Apollo and Ricochet aren't going anywhere. That's why I loved. I mean, when we did this last episode, I was calling for a Cedric Alexander turn, and yeah, it's in my opinion, it's great. I like what they're doing with the Hurt Business side of it. I just feel like Cruz and Ricochet are just completely getting buried.
Yeah, there's no real payoff for the whole feud, right? Like, I mean, yes, the Cedric turning was really cool, but then that's just kind of the end of it. Now you have poor Apollo and poor Ricochet, and they just, like you said, they look kind of like losers. They're getting buried.
Yeah. Oh, and look at what it's funny that we got here because this wasn't intentional. The next match on the card is, hey, look, Lashley against Cruz. Again.
Oh, shocker.
So
Lashley.
With everything that we just said, I mean, Lashley makes the most sense, which is why I hope Cruz wins, because that would be interesting.
It would be. Like, I hope Cruz wins too.
Generally in wrestling, if I don't see it coming, that it's good to me. Like, no matter what it is, if it catches me by surprise, I'm all about it. So if Vega wins and Cruz wins, hey, let's do this.
Right.
Let's have Nakamura turn on Cesaro and join Lucha House Party.
That would be dope.
Let's have Vega win by spitting the Muda Mist into Asuka's face. And let's have Cruz just win clean for no reason in the middle of the ring. And then run away with the belt as soon as the rest of the guys show up.
I'm all for it.
That's how I want these matches to start. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but that's what I'm hoping for. So next match, Street Profits against Andrade and Garza. Who do you got?
I think the Street Profits, they seem like, so you know how like New Day used to be, kind of, the fun team everyone liked. They get the pops, they come out. I feel like that's the Street Profits now. I don't think they necessarily need the straps to do that. However, they're exciting to watch. Like Montez Ford, how high he gets on his freaking frog splashes is insane. And I think they're, super enjoyable as a tag team. So I think they're still gonna keep winning, the Street Profits. And I like watching them, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'd imagine that they're probably selling a good amount of red cups. So let's keep it going. Let's stick with the Street Profits. That being said, last time I also wanted Andrade and Garza to lose because I think they're more interesting as solo guys.
Yes.
Especially now with leaving Vega, seemingly kind of putting her to the side. So I could also see them winning because they made a point. The announcers were talking, I think last week they won, and they're like, "Oh yeah, look how good
without." Yeah,
exactly. So I don't know. I could see that also. But yeah, I think I'm still gonna go with Profits just for the fact that I would like Andrade and Garza to be doing something meaningful, singles wise.
Yeah, those guys are both really, really good in ring guys. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna see a lot of good matches out of those two in the next 10 years.
Yeah. Next match, women's tag team. We have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the Riot Squad. Mherex,
I'm
who?
Baszler and Jax.
So I think this one has the potential to go to Riot Squad just based on Baszler and Jax hitting each other.
Yeah, but that's been really entertaining and fun. I've actually kind of enjoyed that, and I didn't think I'd probably say I enjoyed anything with Naya in a program, but I've actually kind of enjoyed those two. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, so I will say I was at a NXT house show before, and this was when Nia was still on NXT, and I forgot who she was wrestling, but the person that she was wrestling took a swing at her, like a very violent slap, and like barely missed her. So like her hand like went right in front of her face, and Naya made this face and was like, "Oh, I know you just didn't." And she like took her earrings off and handed them to the ref, and it was very entertaining. So Sassy Naya, I think there's a lot of entertainment that can be had with Sassy Naya. So if they need to keep the belts for Naya to continue being sassy, I say they keep the belts. Because
You know,
yeah, her being a dominant powerhouse is boring. I think
yes,
she has more personality, and this is letting her show that off a little bit more.
for sure. I think definitely that's more her strong suit. I like, and besides, when she's being the super dominating powerhouse, she's hurting people. But
Yeah,
it's definitely not entertaining, and also it's showing like I enjoyed Baszler a ton on NXT. I thought she was really good. Super good in ring kind of technician style. But what they've done with her on the main roster previously hasn't been nearly as interesting. And I've found this thing with her and Nia going back and forth and them dominating has actually been highly entertaining with how they're doing it. So for both of them, I feel like it's been a really good program, and I would like to see it keep going until maybe they can build off of it back into Solo doing the same kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know if that's even possible, but like you said, Nia's much more interesting like this.
I mean, it started super interesting for Baszler. She just completely squashed that elimination chamber.
Yeah,
But
but then it
yeah,
kind of
who
went
knows?
kind of went nowhere after that.
Yeah, you know, it's all based on how Vince feels when he wakes up. So, uh, I'm gonna go with yeah. I'm just gonna keep it with Naya and Baszler.
Agreed.
All right. Next match, women's championship: Bailey versus Nikki Cross.
Uh,
What do you got?
Bailey's gonna hold the strap. That's gonna end up when she drops it, it's gonna be to Sasha. Whenever that happens, I feel like so. I think Bailey wins.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she wins via disqualification just because Sasha attacks her or something.
Yeah,
But because yeah, I would imagine if Sasha doesn't come out to do something, I think it's kind of a waste of a match. Because I mean, Nikki, she's had a title shot. I mean, they had a whole big build up, and now she's just kind of randomly in there. Like maybe, and maybe this is how they make it interesting. Maybe Alexa causes Nikki to lose. What do you think about that?
I think that would definitely be interesting. The whole Alexa fiend angle I find very entertaining. I like it. Honestly, like most things with the fiend, I find I enjoy the promo work very, very much. Like pretty much um, everything Bray does promo wise is entertaining. In the ring, I find Fiend extremely not entertaining, but I do like what's going on with Bliss, and she's super good on the mic, super charismatic, and I think she's also pretty highly underrated in the ring. She's gotten pretty good. When you watch her wrestle now compared to like when she first started, she does a lot of stuff really, really well in there. So I would love any kind of angle with Bliss, with this new Fiend Bliss, whatever you want to call her. I find that pretty interesting. And honestly, there's a lot of potential, really interesting stuff going on now in WWE with characters. I'm really liking, Big E, which is getting some solo push, and I really am enjoying all the Keith Lee stuff, which I'm sure we'll talk about him somewhere in here too. But yeah, I don't know. I would love to see that kind of angle with Alexa coming out.
Yeah, I mean, also cute as a button.
Oh yeah,
Let's not that. I'm kind of slightly insulted by you saying that she's gotten a lot better. Because I do think her in-ring work is very good. Part of it is just because of her reactions, how well she sells stuff, how well she does stuff,
mm-hmm.
her actual personality coming through in the match. But I mean, that personality has always been there. So I mean, even like towards the end of her NXT reign, well, not reign because she wasn't a champion, but I mean her time at NXT. I remember they were doing that draft, and they were talking about like, oh, who's gonna come up from NXT, and I remember she is who I picked to come up, and I had some friends who were like, really? Like, I mean, I guess that'd be cool, but I was like, no, man, she's really good. So yeah, I mean, maybe you're talking more in ring performance, like athletic wise, but
Yeah,
in terms of like, I think they always talk about like storytelling and blah 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 with matches. Like, she's always done a really good job of like having her personality come across during the match. So I've always been a big fan of her matches.
no, I agree with that. I mean, more like I feel like she's more technically sound now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that
Yeah.
what you're talking about has always been there. Like, that's definitely her strong suit, whether you want to call that acting or whatever you want to call it. That I feel like is definitely her strong suit. But I feel like technically in ring, she pulls off the moves like really, really well, and has gotten a lot better at what, I don't know. I kind of tend to call that like the small things, like the little stuff that ends up for me making the matches feel a lot better, a lot more polished, or helping suspend reality better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with some type of a shady finish, with the end result being Bailey keeping the belt. So whether that be because Sasha distraction or Bliss distraction, but end result is I think Bailey remains champ.
Agreed.
Next match we got. Also, you mentioned Big E. There's really not a place where we're gonna talk about Big E again, so I wanted to bring this up. So I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, Big E was slated to be in the match for the number one contender,
Yep.
and then they had Sheamus take him out.
I
Yes,
do
you remember that?
remember. I do.
So the rumor going around was that that Big E was actually going to win that match, and he was the one. Obviously, it ended up being Uso, replacing him and getting the win. But E was supposed to win, but what happened is that wind of that got out, and people started talking about it and posting it online. So because people were made aware of it, they just changed it, kind of, I'm not going to say for spite, but just so that the internet reports wouldn't be real. And I think that's absolutely horrible to have something that could have been really good and then have the creators change it just because some people reported it when they shouldn't have. Now ruined it for all of the people that could have enjoyed that high quality content.
Yeah, that sucks for Big E. I love, I'm a fan of Big E. I love Biggie. I love his promos. I love him in the ring. I think he is absolute monster powerhouse, super explosive, super exciting, super hilarious. Very charismatic. I feel like he can do anything. He could be heel if he wanted. Biggie, it just don't matter. Uh, when like when he when he freaking slammed that guy in the car and then just stuffed him in the trunk like it was nothing. That was great, man. Like I love Biggie. That's really, I'm bummed for him, but at the same time, there was no way they were probably going to let him win that match anyway. I would love to. He needs title runs, man. I've been saying this for a while. I want a strap on him, and eventually, I want to see him the Universal Champ. I think he could carry that belt easily and do it solid justice.
Yeah, I think with him, kind of what I would like is to have like a Goldberg like rise to where he wins one belt and then he just keeps beating people. So then he wins another belt, or he's asked to put one aside so that he can go towards the other one, right? Like get him the Intercontinental belt, have him just beat everyone, and then have him feud. Start feuding with whoever the champion is, and then have him be like, "Look, I already beat everyone. I don't even need this thing." And then he gives it back, and then there's some tournament or something to find a new champion. Like, have him really start whooping on people so that when he does get to that main event status, suddenly like Goldberg was, you're like, man, how is this guy gonna lose? Like, he's been beating everyone. Like, how is this guy gonna lose? And then people are like, well, he's gonna lose because they're not gonna let him win. And then
Right.
have him win.
Right, and the guy to do that against would be Roman too, because no one would think he's going to beat Roman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, anyways, I think his time will come, but hopefully they do more with it. Which, like I said, I agree with you. If they would have just stuffed him in there, it was just going to be to take a loss, and he deserves better.
He does, 100%.
So, so speaking of him winning the Intercontinental Championship, who would he take that from? So we have a ladder match, and your choices are Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and the forgotten champ, Sami Zayn. Mherex, who you got?
I will never pick against Jeff Hardy in a ladder match.
That's it? It's the end of your announcement?
Now I'm gonna go with Jeff Hardy. I love Jeff. He hasn't had the strap very long. I would like to see him carry it for a while. That would be like if they wanted to push Biggie and give him a title run eventually at the Intercontinental. I think him and Jeff could put on a heck of a program. It would be super entertaining, and they could do a lot with it. So that would be fine. I'm not, and this is gonna piss a lot of people off, I am not an AJ Styles fan. I don't care for him on the mic. In ring, he's solid, but he's just not really my style. I think he puts on a lot of great matches, though. I think this will be a very, very good match. Sami Zayn, I like heel. I like not heel. He's ridiculous. He's just super entertaining in general. Great weasel heel, but also really, really good face. With his music comes out, get everyone's into it. He's better with fans in attendance, I believe. But I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy. I don't think he should lose the strap yet, and I'd like to see him keep it. So I'm going to go with Jeff for now, but we'll see how that works out.
So you referred to one of these guys as a weasel heel. So tell me, Mherex, who am I going to pick?
You're going to pick Sami Zayn all the way.
I want this to be an incredible match.
I think it will be.
I want Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles to have some awesome spot. And then I want Sami Zayn to crawl into the ring, look both ways, realize that the other dudes have knocked themselves out, and then he crawls up that ladder, and now he walks around with 2 belts.
That would be great. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the heels that make you hate them and you're like, how the heck did they give them the strap? They're doing their job right, and they're doing it really well. And Sammy is really good at pissing people off. He's really good at being annoying.
Like, I want him clutching that belt to his chest like it's precious and they're trying to steal it from him. And that visual with 2 belts, even better.
Yeah, I won't argue with that. I think no matter what happens in this one, the fans are going to win. I feel like AJ and Jeff in a ladder match, I feel like those two are going to have, like you said, there's going to be a pretty big spot and it's going to be a heck of a match. And Sammy always kind of has a way of adding his own flair onto everything, so I think it's going to be really good in general.
No. That's probably the match that I'm most looking forward to, and I'm assuming will be the best match.
I think so too.
Now, a match which will probably be better than expected, Roman Reigns against Jey Uso. Mherex, who do you got?
I think it will be better than expected. You got to figure these guys growing up, this is what they talked about. They had a million imaginary matches for the title, in their head, practicing, you name it. I think it will be very, very good. There's no way, though. Roman's going to wreck everyone and leave. He's going to carry the strap for a while. I love heel Roman. This is the Roman that we've always needed. But I think you're right. I think it's going to be a great match. But Roman's going to win all the way.
I think here is where earlier you made a ridiculous comparison. I'm going to make a much better one. I think here is where we can build some type of a DIY comparison, because Reigns and the Usos have already had that relationship. There's that love, there's that bond. And what I'm hoping for is that at some point in this match, that love is shown, and then Roman Reigns spears him through 8 tables or something. To definitively, it's like when Ciampa turned and became Ciampa. I think this is the perfect opportunity for Reigns to define himself as a definitive heel by showing the love to Uso and then overcoming that love to destroy him. This is his evil origin story.
I mean, if they do it right, it definitely has that kind of potential. I feel like the cards are kind of being lined up that way for that to happen. So I think there's a really good shot. And I think it's going to be a heck of a match, and I hope that it goes down the way both of us want it to.
No. Outside shot that the Fiend's music plays and Roman gets confused and Jey Uso wins with a small package or something. But I think while that would be a surprise, I think they could do much better. So this is one where hopefully I think they use the match to further the gimmick and not just try to surprise someone for the sake of surprising them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns.
Like it.
And in the final match, not necessarily the final match of the night, but the final match that we're going to talk about, right now slated as Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. To the best of my knowledge, Keith Lee is not a part of this match right now. Mherex, who you got?
Keith Lee. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, that's an option, but you got to tell me how he's going to get in there.
Right. That would be really cool if they made it into a 3-way at some point. However, also at the same time, I really, really, really want to see Orton carry the strap. Really, really. And I hope when he does, it can coincide with an Edge return, because they need to have a rubber match, and I want it to be for a title, although it wouldn't have to be, but I would love it to be. I got Orton winning it because that's what I want. I don't really care if it makes sense or doesn't make sense. I feel like Orton is the best he's ever been, like promo wise. I find it super entertaining. I love everything he's doing. I like Drew a lot too. Drew's been a great champion. He's going to have more runs for sure. This will not be the last whenever it's over. But I definitely want to see Orton win, so I'm going to pick Orton.
So here's what I want. I want a solid match. Towards the end of the match, Orton pushes Drew into the referee, one of those type of things, which of course, if you breathe on the referee, he's knocked unconscious for 3 minutes. So I think while that happens, Drew gets pushed into the ref. Orton lands a low blow. Then the commentators are like, no. Maybe Orton grabs a chair or something. At which point Keith Lee runs to the ring to cause Orton to pause. And then Keith Lee spirit bombs Drew McIntyre. Orton is surprised. He is slightly taken aback. But then Keith Lee leaves as the referee starts coming to. And Randy Orton is your new champion. That is what I would like to happen.
So not only does the Weasel heel get the win, but there's a heel turn and Keith Lee is a heel.
And you have a very good new feud, Lee versus McIntyre. Because that becomes a blood feud. Like you don't need the belt there. This is just, hey, you were my friend. And I was like, yeah. And then you pissed me off. Now what? Let's fight. So I hope Lee is involved. If he could cost McIntyre the championship, I think that's the ultimate way to make that feud suddenly mean something. And then Orton can walk very slowly to the ring holding the belt.
Yeah. I hope something like that happens, or Orton wins clean or dirty. I don't care. I just want Orton to have another run. The better...
I can't win. He can't win clean, dude. Come on, what are you doing?
He's Orton. He can win clean.
Learn how to work, kid.
I don't care. I want him to have another run. I don't actually care how he does it, but it would be better if they could set up a way for McIntyre to continue to be relevant and also Keith Lee to remain relevant, and that certainly would do that.
Yeah, because with this, it's easy. You have McIntyre feeling like he was robbed, and then you just have Lee and McIntyre fight, and then the winner of that eventually gets Orton.
Right. Then you're set with a program for a long time.
Yeah. So I think they could do some really interesting things. Obviously, I don't think they're going to do all of them. Maybe they come up with something even better. But yeah, kind of what I'm hoping for is how I'm going to pick things. So
yep.
I'm going with Orton.
I'm going with Orton too.
And that is the card, my friends. Is there anything else that you feel we left off or anything that needs to be discussed before we go?
No, I think we hit the stuff not on the card that I wanted to talk about. Like we hit Retribution. We talked about Big E. We talked about Keith Lee. I think we pretty much covered all the goods.
No. All right, my friend. So I guess it's time to put a bow on it.
Wrap this sucker up.
No, let's go home on this. Take it away, Mherex.
Well, I think it's a great time to wrap it up. Mrs. Mherex just came home from a long day of work, and I want to spend some quality time with her, or at least a few minutes talking to her before I irritate her too much, because I'm a ridiculous, irritating person, as you well know. Appreciate everyone listening. On this particular one, I would really, really like to hear your comments and what you guys think. This is like totally for fun. I don't have to think. I could just talk about wrestling and do whatever. So it's super enjoyable. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on my server. Do you like this? Is it something you want to continue to hear? All of that is cool. Would you like to hear us talk about other things? Let us know what you think. A lot of the content I try to do, I try to shape to the listeners or the viewers, so that it's not completely worthless. So if you're not interested in it, it doesn't really make sense to do it. So
I feel like we talk about a bunch of other stuff that they don't care about.
that's true. Do you guys like the nonsense? Like, or do you find it mostly irritating? Do you tune out, like, because we start out talking stupid? Do you just tune out, quit listening?
Whoa. Speak for yourself there, buddy. Maybe you start out talking stupid.
Right.
I'm brain.
It probably won't matter because we probably won't change it anyway. But I am interested to know if you actually like that part of it or not. But yeah, remember to like, subscribe if you haven't already, which hopefully you have. Cheap plug. And good luck out there, guys.
Yeah, remember, guys, it's just a wrestling show. Relax. Have fun with it. Oh, and also, don't do smart things.
Yeah, be smart. Do smart things, like watching this intro.
No.
Which is actually...
Yeah, we said we were going to put that at the beginning, and also intros go at the front.
Right. That's also the outro. The intro is also the outro. And now you're just seeing a nice black screen, so I'm going to end the recording.
Bye.
Bye.